My first question is, from the time you first became sexually active in your life, in your entire life, your first sexual experience, whether it was intercourse or heavy petting, from that beginning moment, how long was it before a man, and you're heterosexual, right?
Yes.
How long was it before a man was able to bring you to orgasm, either through intercourse or digital or oral stimulation? And we're speaking specifically not about vibrators and mechanical tools. We're talking about just manual stimulation.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say it was 2 years, probably 6 different lovers before I found one who knew what he was doing. I was 13 when I became sexually active.
And the first lover who was able to bring you to orgasm was when you were 15?
When I was 15, yeah. And I found, well, the first few were bumbling teenage boys, but then I found an older man that knew what he was doing. And that opened a whole new world because I had been masturbating since I was a little girl. So I knew how to bring myself to orgasm. But in order to get, to have a man, and I wasn't very good at explaining what I needed. Right. But to have a man finally figure that out, it was about 2 years.
Are you comfortable saying how old that man was?
Oh, he was 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I married him. It's okay.
Oh, you did?
I did.
You ended up marrying that man. Are you still married to that man?
I am still married to him.
The first man who
yes.
struck gold got to keep you.
Absolutely.
Nice. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, did he know what to do because he was older and more experienced?
Good. Yeah, he was really good at what he was doing. And I had known him in high school, and he had a reputation for being good with the ladies. Oh. So when I finally got a chance to date him, I was like, well, okay. We slept together on our first date. So yeah, I wanted to try that out. Go right to the bullseye. You do? I mean, the breasts are off limits. They've nursed so many babies. There's no feeling in them anymore anyway. Enjoy them all you want, but it's not doing anything for me. But then, yeah, go straight for the bullseye, please. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Okay, and do you like a certain position? Do you have to be lying in a certain position, or it doesn't matter? Absolutely doesn't matter because of the way I like it touched. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you could be in any position.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I hate. I hate when they go straight for the bullseye, but they pry you open like an exam, and they start shuffling around looking for your clitoris. Luckily, we're past that. He knows where it is. I love a cup and grind.
Oh, with the palm of the hand?
Absolutely. Get that palm against my clitoris, maybe have the fingers around the entrance, play with putting a finger in while you're grinding.
Okay, so like palms on the top and fingers down below.
And let me do the grinding because I don't expect you to be a mind reader, and it's really hard to figure out how much pressure I want. Right. So if you provide the apparatus, being your palm, I can grind against you to orgasm.
Did you know that you were lesbian or gay? Are you bisexual?
I guess I would consider myself bisexual. I'm primarily attracted to women, but I'm not completely closed off to, being with men if I vibe with the right guy. It's just more. I just tend to vibe with women more. Okay. Yeah. And you're in a relationship right now?
I am.
Okay, and that's with a man or a woman?
It's with a man. I am married.
Okay.
And we're polyamorous.
Oh, okay.
So I've had female companions throughout our marriage also.
Do you like or need the rest of your body touched, or do you like them to go
Absolutely.
Straight for it?
I live for the full body experience. There's some times when it's just, when you just get those moments where you're just really like, God, I just need to get laid like right now. Then yeah, you can just go straight in and, get in and get her done. But most oftenly, I prefer the full body experience. Like I like a lot of foreplay. I like a lot of touching. My back is a erogenous zone. Like seriously, like that, will turn me on more than anything else.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's easy for you, and has it always been, to express to a lover, here's what I need, here's what I'd like, slower, faster, to the side, to the left?
It really depends on the person. If they tend to need a lot of help, then it kind of just turns me off. But if they have a good idea of okay, they seem really into it and they seem to want to know what works, but they kind of have an idea of what they're doing at the same time, then I feel more comfortable and more open to guide them to what I like. But if it's somebody who either is completely clueless or really timid in the bedroom, then I kind of tend to feed off of that. And I'm like, am I really, it just really kind of, if I'm not turned on, I'm not going to kind of get into the moment of wanting to guide them either, you know?
Got it. Do you find it's gotten easier for you to be more vocal about what you need as you've gotten more experienced and older?
Yeah, I was younger. When I was younger, I was extremely shy about it. So yeah, I was.
You can't say.
I was raised I was raised Catholic, so yeah, it was. You just don't like you have. It was a household where you have nicknames for your body parts. So, you know, going from that to
like what nickname?
It was called in my house. Vagina was called a foo-foo, and boys had a winky. Like no joke.
No,
so I didn't even know it was called a vagina until like high school health class. I'm not even kidding. So
from your first sexual encounter, whether that was petting or actual sexual intercourse, to the time somebody brought you to orgasm, how much time was that?
Bare minimum a decade. I think I started with, the making out and heavy petting when I was about 13, lost my virginity at 14, had one accidental orgasm at 16, and I say accidental because it happened, but I never figured out how to recreate it.
Right.
And then it was probably in my early to mid 20s before I, unlocked the secret code of how to make it happen.
Right. So 10 years.
Yeah.
And when that first happened, was it, and you're heterosexual, right?
Yes.
And was it with a man that you explained what to do, or somebody who knew more about what to do?
No, it was a man who figured out the secret was how to pay attention. To pay attention to my breathing, my body's responses. I mean, he played my body like a musical instrument.
Oh, I've heard people say that's such a lovely expression. Yeah, I know what you mean. On the average, about how long does it take you to orgasm in a sex? Do you have a lover or beloved or a husband right now?
I do not. And it's sort of like the wind blowing. Sometimes I can be orgasming within a minute or two of contact, sometimes 15, 20 minutes of hard work or more. And sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Do you find that having a busy mind or relaxing into the moment, relaxing into the feeling makes a difference for you?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the juxtaposition of the lack of pressure to orgasm increases my likelihood of orgasming.
Can you explain that a little bit?
If I feel that my partner is just there enjoying the journey and enjoying the sensations and enjoying spending time with me and the touch, and it's not a race to the finish line, we're really just going to absolutely enjoy these moments together and live in the moment. And if we come, great. If not, oh well, we've still had this much pleasure.
That's great.
I'm almost guaranteed to orgasm.
Right.
If there's are you going to come? Are you going to come? Hey, are you going to come?
Yeah.
Almost a guarantee I won't.
Do you prefer fingers, tongue, intercourse?
Oh, tongue. Absolutely. Every time, all the time, for as long a time as possible.
That's good. And do you notice the difference between a pointy tongue that's like darting and swirling and doing things like that, as opposed to a soft, flat tongue?
Much prefer the soft, flat tongue. The pointy tip of the tongue with the darting feels almost more amateurish, and as though my partner is always afraid to get in there.
And do you need circles back and forth? Do you have to start with a soft pressure and build up to harder?
Prefer soft pressure the entire time. I actually enjoy being penetrated with my fingers while being stimulated on my clitoris.
With your fingers or his fingers? His fingers. And one or two fingers or three fingers? Or doesn't matter?
One or two, but either remaining still or moving very slowly.
When was the first time a partner gave you an orgasm?
So I've had orgasms with people, but they never brought me to orgasm.
Okay. So. And also through pleasuring yourself?
Basically, yes.
Through pleasuring yourself with a partner?
Yes.
Okay.
So there may have been penetration, but it was never, the orgasm never came because of the partner, really.
And it didn't matter if it was it didn't matter if they tried digital or oral stimulation, or you're heterosexual, right?
Right.
So it didn't matter whether it was penis, vagina, penetration, oral or digital stimulation. You have not had a lover bring you to orgasm.
Nope. And I'm 35, and I'm just looking at the clock thinking, I wonder if this will ever happen in my lifetime. So
Yeah.
I've had pleasure, but I've never been able to get over the hump. It always felt like it became sort of a
Mental
stress.
block?
Yeah.
It became a mental block.
It was stressful. It became stressful.
I understand.
Yeah.
For many, many, many women, they aren't able to have an orgasm through a lover giving them stimulation, and it starts to feel like, what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
And then that becomes a mental block, and that is a normal thing that happens to a lot of women.
Yeah.
And so I've told a lot of women as a counselor that sometimes it doesn't happen for women until into their 30s, sometimes into their 40s, and sometimes not until you get a man who says, well, I adore you, and I'm just going to camp out down here, and I'm not leaving. I'm moving in, and I'm not moving out down here.
Oh my gosh.
Until it happens.
So I feel like I've had really good partners who have really tried and maybe didn't have the skill set that you can provide to, you know, to do certain sequences, and I haven't had the skill set or the language to be able to explain what to do either.
Do you tell them anything?
Yeah, so all I've known is what is pleasurable for me with myself. So that's what I try to instruct, but it seems like it doesn't work that way.
Do you use fingers or vibrators? Fingers? That's
fingers,
great.
yeah.
So when a man or your lover is trying, is stuff going on in your head?
Yes, but only when a lot of time passes. And then I think, oh, he's going to get tired, or oh, this is starting to hurt, or oh, this isn't really working.
Yeah.
And mostly being a mom, like my worries in the background, like, is my daughter going to wake up, or, you know, is there a lot going on in my life?
The background noise.
Yeah, it's really hard to turn that off.
It is.
Yeah.
You have to focus on strictly the sensation and be very selfish.
Yeah.
And block everything out. The reason why it takes women longer to orgasm than men is because women are not good at being selfish and blocking everything out.
There have been a couple of experiences that were negative where I think the man got a little bit like angry or like not happy.
Butt hurt?
Yeah.
His ego collapsed?
Maybe.
That's
yeah.
a baby man. Just take the instruction. Oh, men have to be, that's a thing.
And then I pulled back, and I didn't really want to talk about it anymore. I just wanted to, it felt fine, so let's just get it over with. And and we'll have mediocre stuff on my end, and you can have the
orgasm, and then it adds to the frustration and the
But I know what is possible, and that's really where my frustration comes in, is that I know the partnership that I want is spiritual, emotional, and physical.
Now you have a rare and really great story for people to know about, because you didn't start out as a woman. So will you explain about that?
So I am a post-op trans woman. People would argue that I've always been a woman, but I didn't actually realize it till I was about 25, which was a little embarrassing. But yeah, you know, I lived as a heterosexual man for, you know, first 25 odd years of my life, and have lived essentially as a lesbian after that point. So I've kind of had a really unique perspective on sex and relationships.
When you lived as a man, I'm going to ask you the question that I asked all the other women, which is, from your first sexual experience, whether that was petting or intercourse, when was your first orgasm that you gained from being with a mate, that a mate gave you?
Well, I was a late bloomer, so that didn't happen until I was 24, almost 25. And it was the same incident. Because honestly, I think for the vast majority of men, or at least male-bodied people, it's fairly simple. I mean, it certainly was for me, even with all the psychological stuff I had going on.
Right. You have intercourse with the penis, and you come.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how penis pretty much works.
I did my research as much as I could back then, and you know, I knew approximately where the clitoris was, and that it was important, and you know that listening was really important, and communication was really important, and I mean that paid off. The first time I ever had any sort of like sexual intimacy with the woman who eventually became my wife, I was apparently the first person ever to find her G-spot, And it was on the first try. And I'm like, which surprised me because it really wasn't that hard.
Did you find it with your fingers or your penis?
Fingers.
Fingers.
I was like, I read about this on the internet. And keep in mind, at that point, I'd literally never done that with anyone else before.
Would you say that the G-spot or sacred spot is what we call it in Tantra feels like it's in and up? If the woman's lying on her back, it's in and up. Yeah. And that whereas most, the walls of the vagina feel like the sides of your cheek, the G-spot or sacred spot
it's usually
feels like
proper texture.
A walnut covered with skin that's more like the roof of your mouth with ridges. Mm-hmm. And have you noticed it ever swell and expand and contract? Ever noticed that? Or
well, my wife, I don't have quite that resolution of detail with her. But.
Okay. Did she orgasm pretty quickly or take time? It varied?
It varied. It usually probably took her somewhere between 15 and 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And did you ever feel impatient or like, oh my gosh, when's she going to come so we can get to it?
Not really.
You were a very giving soul.
Yeah. Well, also, in my opinion, foreplay was the best part, so.
Okay, so we're going to talk about your vagina now. Now, you had your sex changed how long ago?
9 months ago.
9 months ago. Mm-hmm. And you took hormone replacement and you have your own natural breasts. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. And you have a clitoris as well. And so how do you like being touched?
So it actually took me a while to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
So I discovered I was still orgasmic about 6 weeks after surgery.
That's wonderful.
90% of post-op trans women are, but they're always worried that you're in the unlucky 10%. Mm-hmm. However, it took me until 6 months afterwards to figure out how to orgasm consistently. And even now, I'm still discovering how things work. The one method I know for a fact that has worked, though, whether it's me or it's a partner, although partner is still trickier, is essentially, slip a finger or two inside my vagina, thrust very quickly, while using the palm of the hand to put rhythmic pressure on my clitoris. Mm-hmm. Because one thing that made it difficult is that unless I'm really, really aroused, direct clitoral stimulation doesn't necessarily feel pleasant for me.
Is it too intense?
Yeah. Because it's very sensitive, but, and it doesn't really start to feel good until, I'm probably 3/4 of the way there. Mm-hmm. In fact, I only literally last week discovered I can come from clitoral stimulation alone. Up until that point, I hadn't realized that.
I want to take some time at the end of this video to explain the full body feminine orgasm. Now, men can also have a feminine full body orgasm, which is an extended orgasm. And this is a tiny sliver, a piece of what we teach in the Tantra. Every now and then I do a Tantra workshop when I have enough couples that are interested. There's no sexual activity or disrobing in session, but there's home play assignments. And day 1 is all about the woman and day 2 is all about the man. And so there is a way, an easy way for a man to have extended orgasm, and he does it by doing the breathing technique that I'm going to show you now. But there's other things that the woman will do, and we'll see. We'll see if we can get to that right now. Now I got to get to it because that was too much of a teaser. Okay, so to give your woman a full body feminine orgasm, what you're going to do is help her get really relaxed, and you're going to give her an orgasm, a clitoral orgasm, in whatever way she or you likes. Now, if your woman's not orgasmic, if you're not bringing her to orgasm, she can give herself an orgasm using her fingers or whatever she likes to give herself a clitoral orgasm. That's fine. Then what you're going to do is immediately on the heels of that clitoral orgasm, and a clitoral orgasm is genitally focused orgasm that's over within a few seconds. There's pulsing there. She can either tell you, okay, I'm peeking out, or you might be able to read her energy or feel it because you've got your fingers or your tongue on her, or she's pleasuring herself and she brought herself to orgasm. Then, men, what you're going to do is you're going to enter her with medium speed strokes. The reason why we use medium speed strokes, even though your woman is normally, after she's had a clitoral orgasm, she just wants to pull you into her, and she wants hard and fast. Usually she likes pounding. That happens a lot of time, that women feel like they want that after a clitoral orgasm. It feels really great, but what happens is The woman then dumps all of her sexual energy in the first few minutes of intercourse, sexual intercourse. So, men, you're going to use medium speed strokes. No matter how much she's pulling you, you're going to keep on using just medium speed. Even if she's pulling you and she's got her legs wrapped around and she's trying to pull you into her, medium speed strokes. I guarantee you it'll turn her on even more because you're hard and she's just had a clitoral orgasm and she wants it and she's aching for it now. She's aching for it. So women, what you're going to do while your man's doing that is you're going to use this long connected breathing. We call it connected breathing. So on the in-breath, while he's, it doesn't matter what he's doing with his strokes, whether he's going in or out, doesn't matter. But on the in-breath, you're going to tilt your body into a C, into a concave. And when you breathe out, you're going to arch. So when you breathe in on this concave breath in, you're going to squeeze your PC muscles. You're going to do like a Kegel. You're going to breathe in, squeeze. You're going to breathe out, arch and release. So it's a breath like this. And you're going to tone on the exhale. And you're just going to keep on doing that. Now it's going to start out very organized. You're going to breathe in and squeeze, out and relax. In and squeeze, out and relax. But pretty soon, you're going to start breathing up into a full body feminine orgasm, an orgasm that floods through your entire body. It starts coming up, rising up. It hits your chest, your nipples stand up. It starts flying down your arms, out the palms of your hand and the bottom of your feet. Yes. So that's how you do it. And you can go as long as he can keep pumping. And even after he orgasms, although a tantric man sometimes doesn't want to ejaculate, he'll just keep on orgasming. Because men, I'm going to explain in a second how you can do it too. Even after the intercourse is finished, you'll find your entire body fluttering and shaking, sometimes for another 20 minutes or half hour or hour or 3 hours. And when you get very well practiced at this, you can even go to work. And if you get tired in the middle of your workday, you can close your door, close your blinds, sit down in your desk chair and do your fire breath and do that squeezing of the PC muscle. The PC muscle is the muscle that we squeeze to stop peeing. So that's the muscle I'm talking about, men. Women know it as a Kegel. But you can sit down at your desk and do a few fire breaths and breathe that energy back up. And then you can breathe it back down whenever you need to into a low hum in your hips. But it really energizes and enlivens you and brightens up your day. Okay, so now women, to give your man a feminine full body orgasm, what you're going to do is you're going to either sit beside him or in between his legs. You're going to touch him with your hands or your mouth in whatever way you touch him to pleasure him. And men, you're going to do this fire breath. You're laying down, you're squeezing, you're breathing in, you're relaxing that PC muscle and breathing out. And as I said, it starts out really organized and you're controlling the breath. And after a while, the breath, it takes over and everything gets very disorganized and the orgasm's just flying through you. So that's a mini quickie version about the extended feminine full body orgasm for men. So thank you for watching this video. I'm honored that you took the time just to see what is happening in other people's worlds, what's happening in other people's lives, in their vaginas. And I hope that this video serves to help men understand that you don't have to know how to touch us because we're all so different. And we're different on different days of the month. So it's okay to ask. And maybe even men, invite your woman to have a signal that a tap on this shoulder means speed up and harder, and a tap on this shoulder means slow down and relax, or a rub or a tap. Or a circle, do a circle on his shoulder, and that means move into circles now. Now have signals so that your woman doesn't have to talk, which gets her up in her head. So I really hope this helps you. It's from my heart to yours. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys.